Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 6. Just wanted to take a few minutes to go over the agenda for the week so that you'll know what lessons and assignments are in store for you. It's a big week. First thing you'll have to do, of course, is take the week 6 attendance quiz. Remember, the questions on that quiz will come from the material we covered in week 5. Once you've taken the quiz, you'll have access to the lessons and assignments for the week. First thing you'll see under the quiz is a brief review of week 5. And then we have several required lessons this week, and it is all a review of grammar and mechanics. We are moving into the rough draft of your research paper. And so we're moving towards sort of what to do to put the finishing touches on your draft. Certainly the finishing touches to put on your final draft. You might not necessarily worry so much about grammar and mechanics for your rough draft. But certainly by the time you are ready to submit your final draft, you really need to make sure that you are doing a good job at proofreading. So you'll see several required lessons. Make sure you go through all of them. And then the homework for this week is project part 3, which is the rough draft of the research paper. There are release conditions associated with it, so let's go ahead and take a look at those. You need to have submitted and received full points on project part 2. So if you have submitted project part 2, but you still don't have 25 out of 25 points on it, then you are not going to be able to access project part 3 this week. You need to make the changes that I suggested in my feedback for project part 2 and get that resubmitted so that I can take another look at it and hopefully give you full points on it. If you have not submitted project part 2 at all, you need to do so right away, and you need to do your best to adhere to the instructions on every step of project part 2 so that you are more likely to get full points the first time around, right? You need to have also submitted the integrating sources assignments from week 5. So that's in the integrating sources part 1, which was quiz format, and integrating sources part 2, which was in like a regular assignment format. You need to have submitted those. Obviously, you need to have taken the week 6 attendance quiz. And then what is happening over here? I think someone is messing with me. Week 6 attendance quiz, and then all of the lessons here in week 6, you need to have gone through those as well. So the useful words for grammar and mechanics, sentence fragments, run-on sentences and comma splices, eliminating ineffective writing, modifiers, and sentence combining. All right, so that is everything you need to have completed in order to access project part 3 this week. And project part 3 is the only homework you have. It's the rough draft of your research paper. I don't want you worrying about a discussion or any other types of assignments. Just make sure that you have achieved all of the release conditions and then work on your rough draft. When you go to the instructions for project part 3, there'll be a video where I explain what you need to do. I would highly suggest watching that video. You might think that, it's rough draft. I write the rough draft, but there are certain things that you need to make sure you do for project part 3 before I will even accept it. So sure you have access to it, but if you don't have some of these specifics in place when you submit project part 3, I will simply give you a 0 and say you need to make sure you're adhering to the assignment instructions and then resubmit it. Also, project part 3, at the bottom of the instructions, you'll see a chart with everybody's names and email addresses. And that is because when you submit project part 3, you are also going to email your draft to an assigned classmate so that everyone can do the peer review assignment in week 7. So please make sure that you are paying attention to that. It's all the way at the bottom of the instructions. Make sure you are paying attention to that so that you know who to send your draft to when you submit it to me as well, okay? All of that is explained in the video and in the written instructions for project part 3. It is due Sunday night, right? Try to have that in on time, because during week 7, I will be going through the rough draft and providing you with very detailed feedback. It takes me 2 to 3 hours per draft. So the sooner you can get yours to me, the sooner I can get through them and return the feedback to you, so you have plenty of time to revise for the final draft. Okay. So get through all of that, reach out if you have questions, and just do your best. It is a rough draft. I am going to give you feedback, but the more work you put into the rough draft, hopefully that means the less revisions you'll have to do for the final draft. Okay. But certainly reach out if you have questions. Otherwise, you are free to go ahead and get started.